What's going on? Are you a beginner for JavaScript or web development or anything that deals with JavaScript? Well, you're in the right place because just like you, I'm also a beginner, but I've been studying on my own for a while, and this is just my journey showing you guys that it's possible to start teaching yourself how to code and how to be a software engineer. So, with that being said, I'd like to show you guys some functions and just to give a brief story of like what I'm doing. So I'm currently taking this course. I'll put it up here on the video. I'm taking this course on Udemy called Zero to Expert. It's by Jonas somebody. It's up here. And yeah, so I'm going through his course and I'm just doing the coding challenges, and today is going to be one of those coding challenges. So let's get into it. Boom. What's going on, guys? So we're going to be doing functions today. So if you don't know what a function is, essentially a function is something that can run multiple lines of code, all by being called by one name. And then yeah, so function will have the function name, parameters, and it'll also have a body of code, and it'll have some type of return or output statement. Usually it's like a return statement. So if you don't know what this app is, check out my couple other videos. Check out my first video, JavaScript from a beginner's POV. That will explain what this is. Essentially just VS Code. But it goes a little bit more in depth into what VS Code is and stuff. So we're going to be using VS Code and Replit. If you don't know what Replit is, check out my last video. So yeah, so I'm going to, usually if you've watched these videos, you know how it goes. We're going to go and do a brief overview of this coding challenge. And yeah, we're going to go from there. So back to the two gymnastic teams, the Dolphins and the Koalas. There's a new gymnastics discipline which works differently. Each team competes three times, and then the average of the three scores is calculated. A team only wins if it has at least double the average score of the other team. Otherwise, no team wins. So essentially, it wants us to create a function that can do all this. So essentially, a function that can calculate the average of both teams and then double that, and then whoever equals that amount is going to be the winner. If nobody equals that amount, then nobody wins, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So task number 1, create an arrow function calc average to calculate the average of 3 scores. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So an arrow function is a very simple way, an easy way of writing a function. So if I can remember correctly, it's just going to be... Alright guys, so I figured out what the issue was. So if you see right here, this is the proper way to do an arrow function. So right here you have the name of the function equals to, these are the parameters right here. And then this is the return statement. So this is what it's going to return out. So score 1 plus 2 plus 3 to all divided by 3 equals out to the average. So I was trying to do this. So if you look right here, I was trying to do that right there. I was trying to assign the function to a variable while trying to create the function, and you can't do that with arrow functions. You can do that with declaration functions and expressions. You can do that, but you can't do that with arrow functions. So if you look now, it'll work. So this is it being worked. Boom. So the average of those 3 numbers is 46. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna take these numbers out. Keep it like that for right now. And we're going to create another one for the average for the koalas. And if you can't tell, I moved over to Replit just because it's way easier to show you guys quick examples of it working or not. So we're going to move on to the next part of this, which is going to be create a function called check winner that takes the average score of each team as parameters. So create a function called check winner, and the parameters are going to be average dolphins and average koalas. And then we're going to need to put some curly brackets for the body. And so this is a declared function right here, if you can't tell. Okay. So, and then logs the winner to the console together with the victory points according to the rule above. So if we go back to who's going to win, so we could do if put a little if statement. We can close up some of these. So if average dolphins is greater than no, if average graded dolphins equal to koalas and equals koalas, average koalas times 2. So my methodology right here is if the average dolphins is equal to the koalas and the average dolphins is equal to koalas times 2. So we could just take this part out because we don't need that. So if the average dolphins is equal to the average koalas times 2, then because you want to have the average dolphins uh then you want to have the average dolphins double that points. That's how you know they're the winner. So yeah, then we'll return, I don't know, here, let's return a string called, oh here, let's do a tick marks. Dolphins win the game with a total of, and then we'll do, make it look a little fancy, points. Boom. Else if else if the same thing but backwards. So if the average koalas is equal to average dolphins times 2. Put these in parentheses. Then we'll return this whole thing right here, but replace it with koalas. Koalas. And then else return no one is a winner. So yeah, so methodology right here is if the average dolphins is equal to the average koalas times 2, so double their points, then return dolphins win the game with a total of XYZ points. Else if the average koalas, same thing, but with the koalas, if the koalas double score than the dolphins, then they're going to turn koalas win the game with a total of XYZ points. Else, no one's a winner. So let's double check and see if we have everything correct. So you look right here. Oh snap. It's the next one. Just trying to make the screen a little bigger. Okay. So we've created an arrow function. Boom. Oh. Created an arrow function. Use the function to calculate both teams right there. And then create a function called check winner right here. That takes the average scores as parameters and then logs the winner to the console together with the victory points according to the rule above. So a team only wins if it has at least double of the, otherwise no team wins. And then ignore draws this time. And so we could put in these scores right here. So we could put in 44, 23, 44, 23, and 71. And then I'm just going to put this on the side so I can put these in a little quicker. And 65, 54, 65, 54, and 49. So let's see. If we go down here and do constant, winner of the game equals check winner. Boom. And then we console.log winner of the game. This should give us back what we were looking for. So with that being said, we're gonna run it, see what's going on here. Okay, we have an error. Count average not defined. Alright guys, so the only reason we were having an error right there was just because of the fact that this was spelled like this. I made a typo. So average was spelled wrong. So that way, you know, this is not defined, but average spelled the right way is defined with this arrow function right here. So what all we had to do was go like this. And so a cool little trick that I found out is if you, I think like if you do use strict code and you put that, I think that's how you do it, or maybe you put it in tick marks. If you do that, then it will stop you from like being able to see all that. But that's pretty cool. So as we can see here, we'll run it. So the score for the Dolphins is 46, and the score for the Koalas is 56. So no one is a winner because neither one of these scores are double each other. So we should probably add greater than or equal to, because I'm not sure how he wanted that, but either way. So check it out. So we're gonna go over this one last time, one brief. So constant, this variable calc average is a function, is an arrow function right here. So it's gonna, these are the parameters. This is the name of the function, and then this is what the function returns. So 1, 2, and 3 divided by 3 equals the average. So then we turned around and we called on this function with this average variable, average dolphins, average koalas, and we used it. We put in all these are called arguments. So the difference between arguments and parameters is arguments are the actual values, parameters are just the key holders for the names that you're going to put there. So example, parameters score 1, score 2, score 3, these are arguments. So then with that, we've calculated the average. So if we move down here to this function, this is a declaration function. So that means that it's not an expression. It's actually gonna, it's hardwired. So it's not a value. It's not an expression essentially. So the name of this function is check winner. So what that does, it has two parameters right here: average dolphins, average koalas, and so what it does is it already has these values. So it's calculated this 46 and 56. So if the average dolphins is greater than or equal to double the amount of koalas, then it'll return this, and vice versa for koalas, it'll return the koalas 1. Else, no one is a winner. So let's try a couple more variables right here. It wants us to try, and then that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. So let's try this right here. So the Dolphins score is going to be 85, 41, 54, and then the koala is going to be 23, 34, and 27. So if we run this, it should give us our scores and if someone's a winner. So the Dolphins have 60 and the koalas have 28. So we should be getting, so there's an issue here. So we should be getting, all right guys, so I figured out what the issue is. So if you run this, it's going to give this error because there's no arguments in here. And if there's no arguments, you can't call on that function. So what we're going to have to do is, because this is supposed to return these two averages right here, so we're just going to copy this and paste it right in here. And we should get that the Dolphins are a winner. Interesting. Okay, we put a little extra right there. Dolphins win the game with a total of 60 points. Perfect. So, one more time, one brief overview. We have this arrow function right here, which is giving us our sums for these variables right here. And then we have logging the scores. Then we have this function called check winner, which essentially runs through and sees if one team has double the amount of points or more than the other team, and gives back a statement, which is, or a string that says which one's the winner. And then we call on that with using the arguments, which are these right here. So, wrapping that up, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. If you're interested in what I'm doing, I'm currently about to join a boot camp. So if that's something that's interesting you, I'll talk about it soon. I'm going to be joining Hack Reactor with Galvanize, and that's pretty cool. I also encourage you to, if you're interested in any PCs, to check that out in the description down below. Check the link out. I do build PCs if you check out my other videos too. And also join the Discord, guys. I'm trying to build a community of people who are very, 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 very motivated in becoming a software engineer and changing their lives, and getting those goals that they want in their lives and their careers. So I want you to join the Discord so we can start talking and we can share information and help each other grow and learn. It's always awesome to have somebody beside you, so that way you can take that step with them and then teach them, or somebody can teach you. It's always good to network, guys. Remember that. And follow my social medias, my Instagrams, my Twitter, my Snapchat's down there too in the description, I'm pretty sure. Follow all my stuff, and that helps me grow so I can keep motivating and helping beginners just like me get to where they want to be. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, and peace. See you guys in the next one.